All right, quick market update video. We're going to be covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, GameStop, S&P 500, just a bunch of charts. So first, Bitcoin. I think it's a pretty clear bullish picture being painted here. You've got your inverse head and shoulders kind of nested within another inverse head and shoulders. This is the same kind of rounding bottom, cup and handle, whatever you want to call it, that has played out on gold. It's played out on BNB. It's played out on silver. Could this take a little while longer to play out on Bitcoin? Certainly. Could we get rejected and come all the way back down to our midpoint or the bottom of our range? Certainly. But I wouldn't in a million years make that bet. I would not be making that bet right now. Everything is screaming bullish. We had $1 billion in inflows yesterday into the Bitcoin ETFs. But just the chart alone, screaming bullish with the inverse head and shoulders, the cup and handles, the bullish pattern, whatever you want to. If you're a pattern trader, you're all over this thing. Is there an argument to be made for maybe de-risking and waiting for a breakout to confirm? Sure. But I'm pretty comfortable being long here throughout the entirety of this consolidation, and holding on to positions through chop, low leverage, wide stop losses, and then changing market bias to be short if we see something like this trend line break, this midpoint break, moving back down to the bottom of a range. Yeah, that would be obviously super bearish, and we would change our view on the market if that were to start happening. But right now, everything I'm seeing is pointing towards the direction of being bullish. I think I already posted this on Twitter. But this is the gold fractal, right? This is gold from 2020 to 2024. It's like the exact same. And it resolved to the upside, right? It could get choppy around here. But it did resolve to the upside, as this type of pattern and consolidation usually does. Very similar chart to BNB. BNB is a little bit cleaner than Bitcoin was, right? Making just straight up higher lows the entire time. But yeah, BNB leading here. First major altcoin to break out. We were able to catch this breakout yesterday in the Discord. Head over to Sistine.ai if you want to sign up. ETH slowing down, lagging behind as ETH usually does, but clean consolidation here right above some prior support or prior resistance, turning that into support. Some consolidation below our prior resistance at around $4,000. I think this is also going to resolve upwards. And as I've mentioned, I'm bullish on Ethereum for a multitude of reasons, including the ETF that's coming through, as well as the Mt. Gox distributions that I think is going to be healthy for the ETH Bitcoin ratio. DXY is a chart that we've been paying attention to, and DXY is getting that back test that we talked about yesterday and maybe even the day before, but I think I know for sure yesterday. Right? Oftentimes when you break down from a trend, right, you fall through, this area is going to get retested, whether it's the actual trend line that gets retested or the horizontal level that you actually broke out of, you're going to get retested. Now, remember, DXY is something that if this revalidates and starts screaming upwards, that is a red flag for us. Then we maybe consider the more bearish scenarios playing out for Bitcoin and for risk assets. But until that happens, this is actually looking like a nice breakdown. And what we want to see is a failed retest, meaning we get rejected here on DXY. S&P 500 up 0.5% today. We talked about how crazy the month close was last Friday. And we talked about needing to maintain price action above this 5260, prior high. That's exactly what we saw. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. Stocks are largely, in my opinion, rigged to go up. So you're almost always going to be better off betting on them going up. Do I think there's going to be a major crash and recession on a 1 to 2 year time frame? Yeah, sure. But in the meantime, I think we're in the Goldilocks zone. I won't get into my macro views too much. Gold and silver starting to find some support. Overall, on a macro scale, right, from a big picture, this is exactly what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now. We saw gold do it first, where you had this kind of rounding bottom pattern, right? Consolidation below our resistance, and then a big breakout, and now we're consolidating again, right? Healthy consolidation there. You guys know the Doge chart, nothing else to say. It's been super stable, super, I guess, flat. Just kind of an exponential curve that I applied to it. Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to follow that, but the very clear, very clear trigger for getting into a Doge long, and I'm already long Doge, but for getting into a Doge long is breaking this diagonal, right? Breaking this diagonal, as well as getting above 17.5 cents. That happens, long time frames look like this thing's running to 30 to 35 cents rather quickly. Shiba Inu rewarding us for not capitulating at the bottom. This was a difficult one to hold on to, but it did immediately revalidate after breaking this trend line, right? We had this wick, this capitulation, bears tried to take it down, sellers tried to take it down, and then we immediately got back up into this trend line, still looking like a very bullish chart in the grand scheme of things, something that probably takes a little bit longer to play out than Bitcoin, right? We need Bitcoin to break out, and then we need ETH to follow. And then as ETH follows, we can start to see some ETH meme coins like Shiba Inu and Pepe start to follow as well. Very interesting charts from GameStop today. Turns out all of the call sellers, all of the hedge funds that have been selling calls, they do not have combined enough shares to cover Roaring Kitty's position, should he decide to exercise his 12 million calls that are at $20, right? So he's deep in the money, deep in profit now, and they do not have. So that news came out today, and that is kind of pumping GameStop up about 11%. Beyond that, I do think that there's upside in STX as an altcoin that is probably going to run in line with, let's go to STX USDT. Probably going to continue to run in line with Bitcoin and be one of the first moving altcoins, and kind of already is. Interesting chart here is if we overlay Bitcoin, we actually see the divergence, right? Normally these two assets are super correlated. You had some bearish divergence there if we were to pull up the RSI, but then we had divergence where STX was moving downwards while Bitcoin was moving upwards, right? And I think this divergence is probably going to play out with STX having a big catch-up trade up into this region, right? Bitcoin almost at all-time highs, STX still, let's see here, 40% off of all-time highs. So I think this will be one of the faster movers off of the bottom, and already kind of has had a big pump. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they've missed STX. I certainly felt like when I saw this moving yesterday, I certainly felt like I had missed it. But now we've just got a nice confirmed break of the diagonal. We're butting up into resistance. If you're willing to take the risk of potentially losing some money, this has just pretty clean invalidation. Right, this is you can still long up here, target $3.50, right, and keep a stop loss below this local low, which would just mean that, hey, new lows, this bearish trend is not over, it's failed breakout, right? Let's cut the position. That's still 3-to-1 risk reward, right? If you don't mind using low leverage and a wide stop here, which I think is the most ideal thing to be using, the most ideal style of trading in this current volatile market. I don't think you should be levering up to 15x, right? I think you should be using wide stops, low leverage, and let things play out. Give it some room. Give it some room in case you get just a random wick liquidation like we've seen in the past. These will take you out if you're not, excuse me, if you're not protecting your positions with wider stop losses than you normally would. Last but not least, I do want to cover, I did post this on Twitter as well. You can follow me on Twitter. I did want to cover the big picture here for Doge versus Bitcoin, Doge Bitcoin. If we go to our patterns, our AI patterns, take it or leave it. We do see this descending wedge, especially when we got to the monthly, it's a little clearer. This descending wedge showing a breakout target of 0.000125, right, for Dogecoin. At $100,000 Bitcoin, that is $1.25 Dogecoin. I am very bullish on Dogecoin. I think it can run, and I think it's a good play if it can get above that 17.5 cent region. And I do think it's very likely that we do see it run up towards the minimum, like the 30 cent to 35 cent region. But in the bigger picture, if we get a nice big move out of Bitcoin to say 100K, I think Dogecoin can move to $1 towards the end of this bull market cycle. Guys, if you want the updated notes, if you want these videos sent to you via email with the summary notes, just find the link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, and put in your email, and those will go out daily. Aside from that, these videos are sponsored by RabbitX, so check out the link in the description below if you want to trade on RabbitX. It's a great decentralized derivatives exchange that I personally like. And then, of course, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, go check out Systine.ai if you want to sign up for our research, as well as join our Discord. Guys, STX is something that we identified back in the bear market as a buy at like 28 cents. And you can go and look up that report and that thesis on STX all the way back in, the bear market. So go check out Systine.ai, sign up if you would like access to the Discord and our research reports. All right, guys, catch you next time. Peace.